Very good morning to one and all. I welcome you all in the next lecture of heat transfer. Whether my voice is audible and can you see my presentation? Please let me know in the chat box. For the better visibility of this word file, I suggest you can rotate your screen and you can use the zoom feature. Okay. Okay, so in the last lecture, we have started discussion on heat transfer through hollow and composite cylinder. Okay, so in first case, we have taken heat conduction through hollow cylinder. Okay, so hollow cylinder means what? There is only one cylinder. Okay, only one cylinder, and it is made up of a single material only. Okay, so in that case, we have discussed that cylinder is having two radiuses, two radius, that is R1 is the internal radius and R2 is the external radius. Okay, now here for the derivation purpose we have considered that the internal surface of the cylinder is maintained at a T1 degree Celsius temperature and the external surface of the cylinder which is maintained at a T2 degree Celsius temperature, so that heat is flowing from inside surface towards the outside surface. Heat is flowing from inside surface towards the outside surface, and we have considered that heat is only flowing in a radial direction. Heat is only flowing in a radial direction. So in this particular case, the hollow cylinder having the length of a L. Okay, this hollow cylinder having length of a L. For the derivation purpose, we have considered one small element. Okay, we have considered a small element. So this dotted line shows the element. This particular dotted line shows the element. The element we have considered, that is about the thickness of that particular cylinder. Okay, so out of total thickness of the cylinder, we have considered the small element. Okay, getting everyone? Now the thickness of that particular small element is dr. Okay, thickness of that particular small element is dr. Okay, now further we have seen that we have considered the one-dimensional steady state heat conduction equation without heat generation in case of a cylinder. Okay, and this particular equation, we know that d2t divided by dr square plus 1 upon r multiplied by dt divided by dr is equal to 0. So that equation we have derived from the general heat conduction equation in a cylindrical coordinates. Okay, for steady state there will not be a dabba t divided by dabba small t term, and for the no heat generation or without heat generation, so qg term, q suffix g term will be 0. So that, and the finally it is one dimensional, so and it is heat is flowing only in a radial direction. So we have to consider only r axis. We have to consider only r axis, so that we will get the equation, deduce the equation from general heat conduction equation in a cylindrical coordinate system in this particular manner. Okay, now we have done some mathematical operation over here. So we have taken the common 1 upon r common. So if you take the 1 upon r common, so we will get the equation as 1 upon r into bracket r multiplied by d2t divided by dr square plus dt divided by dr. Okay, dt divided by dr. Now instead of this particular bracket, that is nothing but the square bracket, we can write as r d by dr of into bracket r multiplied by dt divided by dr is equal to 0. Why we have written this particular? Because we can say that this particular term is the inverse of u multiplied by b. Okay, inverse of differential of u multiplied by b. So we know the general rule for differential of u multiplied by b. Differential with respect to x for u multiplied by v is equal to v multiplied by du divided by dx plus u multiplied by dv divided by dx. Okay, Now here we have applied this particular rule for this bracket, okay, for this particular bracket, and we come to know that if we derive or we differentiate this r multiplied by dt divided by dr with respect to r, then we will get this particular bracket. Okay, we'll get this particular bracket is equal to r multiplied by d2 divided t divided by dr square plus dt divided by dr. Okay, so instead of this we can write d by dr into bracket r multiplied by dt divided by dr. Instead of this we can write d by dr into bracket r multiplied by dt divided by dr. Okay, so we have converted this equation, and further our equation further what instead of this we can say that we have equation 1 upon r multiplied by d by dr into bracket r multiplied by dt divided by dr. Now when you shift this 1 upon r or r on this side, so 0 multiplied by r, it will become a 0. So we will get the equation as d divided by dr multiplied by r differential of r multiplied by dt divided by dr with respect to r is equal to 0. Now we have to integrate this equation. Okay, have you written these particular points? If not, please let me know so that I will give some time. So in the revision only you can write this. Have you written these points? Please let me know whether you understood or not. What is going on about the cylinder, whether you understood or not. And have you written all the derivation or not? That also I want to know from your side. You have written. Okay. Okay. So, and whether you understood the things, what you have written. Okay. Okay. So it is applicable for everyone, not a single person. Okay. So if you understood, not understood, please let me know so that it will easy to me to go ahead. Okay. So then further we have integrate this equation. Okay. Integrate this equation. So in a first integration, one differentiation will be cancelled for the integration. Okay. One integration, one differentiation will be cancelled. So we will get, or the remaining part is only this particular bracket r multiplied by dt divided by dr. Okay, r multiplied by dt divided by dr, and we have to introduce one integration constant, that is nothing but a c1. So we will get the equation as r multiplied by dt divided by dr is equal to c1. Okay, or differentiation of t with respect to r. Okay, r multiplied by differentiation of t with respect to r. So further what we have done, we have separate out these terms. Okay, r term we have separate out on one side, and dt term we have kept on the left side only. Okay, so it will be easy for the further integration. It will be easy for the further integration. So we will get the equation as dt is equal to c1 multiplied by dr divided by r. Okay, so once we integrate this equation, integration of dt will become a t. Okay, c1 c1 multiplied by integration of dr divided by r. So integration of 1 upon r is log r or ln of r. Okay, integration of 1 upon r is ln of r. Okay, or log r. Okay, so that and we have to introduce second integration constant, because we are taking it second integration. So after integration, once again after taking once again integration, we'll get the equation as a t is equal to c1 multiplied by ln of r plus c2. Okay, so give this equation number as equation Roman 1. Okay, give this equation number as equation Roman 1. Then afterward we have to decide the boundaries or the boundary condition to find out the constants c1 and c2. To find out the constant c1 and c2. So boundary conditions will be find out, or it will be we will get that boundary condition by considering the diagram only. Okay, so when radius is r1, So when we are at the internal surface of cylinder, that at that point the radius is R1. So at that moment, what is the temperature of that particular internal surface? Temperature is T1. So when R is equal to R1, T becomes T1. When R is equal to R1, T becomes T1. And when R is equal to R2, when we are at the outer surface of the cylinder, when we are at the outer surface of the cylinder. So at that time, or at that particular position, the radius is R2. Okay, radius is R2. So what is the temperature of outer surface? The temperature of outer surface is T2. So that will be our boundary condition. When R is equal to R2, T becomes T2. When R is equal to R2, T becomes T2. So that will be our boundary condition. Then we have to apply this boundary condition one by one. Okay, so apply first boundary condition. First boundary condition, when R is equal to R1, T becomes T1. So we have to apply this particular two boundary condition on this equation number Roman 1. Equation number 1, Roman 1. So when R is equal to R1, T becomes T1. So T becomes T1, okay, is equal to C1 multiplied by ln of R1. So R becomes R1, okay, plus C2, plus C2. So give this equation number 1, okay, equation number 1. Then apply second boundary condition. Apply second boundary condition. So when we are dealing with the second boundary condition, when R is equal to R2, at that point, T becomes T2. So T becomes T2 is equal to C1 multiplied by R becomes R2, that is ln of R2 plus C2, okay, plus C2. So that will be equation number 2. Then further, we have to subtract this equation to get the one of the constant. We have to do some mathematical operation. So here we have to perform the subtraction operation. Okay, subtract equation 2 and 1. Okay, so subtraction in such a manner that left hand side should be subtracted on left hand side and right hand side should be subtracted on a right hand side. So that T2 minus T1, that will be our left side. T2 minus T1, that will be our left side, is equal to. Now if you subtract this equation 2 from equation 1 from equation 2, then C2 will be cancelled. Okay, plus C2 minus C2 will be cancelled. So only C1 terms will be remain here. So if you take out the C1 common, then in bracket it will remain as ln of R2 minus ln of R1. ln of R2 minus ln of R1. So log R2, log X minus log Y, okay, is equal to log of X divided by Y. Okay, that is the logarithmic rule. Okay, log X minus log Y, okay, which is equal to log X divided by Y. Okay, that this is the logarithmic rule. By applying the same logarithmic rule, we have converted ln of R2 minus ln of R1 into ln of R2 divided by R1. ln of R2 divided by R1. Getting everyone? So T2, we will get the equation as T2 minus T1 is equal to C1 multiplied by ln of R2 divided by R1. ln of R2 divided by R1. Okay, and if you want to find out the C1 value, constant C1 value, then we have to convert this equation in the form of a C1. So C1 will become C1 is equal to T2 minus T1 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1. ln of R2 divided by R1. Getting everyone how to find out the C1 value? Then further, put this C1 value in one of the equation to determine the C2. Okay, put this equation, this value of a C1 in one of the equation number 1 or 2 to get the value of a C2. So for that reason, we are putting C1 in equation 1. Okay, C1 in equation 1. Okay, our equation number 1 is T1 is equal to C1 multiplied by ln of R1 plus C2. Okay, in that equation number 1, we are going to put up the value of a C1 that will provide you C2 value or C2 equation. Okay, so put C1 value in equation 1. So the equation 1 will become T1 is equal to C1 value is T2 minus T1 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 multiplied by ln of R1, okay, plus C2, plus C2. Now when you want to determine C2, now if you want to take these values in a format of initial temperature minus final temperature, so that we have to take out the minus sign out of the bracket. Okay, so here we have taken the minus sign out of the bracket. Okay, and we have converted this bracket as T1 minus T2. Okay, we have converted this bracket as a T1 minus T2 by taking the negative sign common out of this particular bracket. Okay, so if you take the negative sign common, then T1 minus T1 will become a plus T1, and minus T2 minus T1 will become a plus T1, and plus T2 will become a minus T2. So we will get the equation as minus of into bracket T1 minus T2 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 multiply by ln of R1, okay, plus C2. Now we want to determine the equation for C2 or value for C2. So for that purpose, we have to convert this equation in the form of a C2, okay, in the form of a C2. So for that reason, we have to shift this term, we have to shift this particular term to the left hand side. So then only we will get the equation in the form of a C2. So when we shift this term on the left side, so it will become T1 plus minus sign will become a plus, okay. So T1 plus T1 minus T2 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1, okay, multiply by ln of R1, multiply by ln of R1. That will provide you C2 value. That will provide you C2 value. Getting everyone? Everyone with me? Have you written this thing? Okay. So write simultaneously. Then once you get the C1 and C2 value, once you get the C1 and C2 value, we have to put up this C1 and C2 value in equation number 1 to determine the temperature distribution equation. Okay. For what reason we are doing this? To determine the temperature distribution equation or a temperature profile. We require this equation, and for that reason we have to put up C1 and C2 constants in equation number 1, okay, Roman 1, in equation Roman 1, okay. So equation Roman 1 is our general equation is T is equal to C1 multiplied by ln of R plus C2, okay. This is our equation number Roman 1. Now after putting this equation C1 and C2 values in equation number 1, so that equation 1 becomes, okay, equation 1 becomes, so T is equal to C1 is T2 minus T1 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 multiply by ln of R, okay, plus C2 is T1 plus T1 minus T2 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 multiply by ln of R1, just we have put up C1 and C2 in equation Roman 1. You also do this particular operation. Put C1 and C2 in equation number Roman 1. Put C1 and C2 in equation number Roman 1. Put equation C1. Put C1 and C2 in equation number Roman 1. So then equation Roman 1 is T is equal to C1 multiplied by ln of R plus C2. T is equal to C1 multiplied by ln of R plus C2, okay. So therefore equation 1 becomes, therefore equation 1 becomes, write down next line, T is equal to in square bracket, T is equal to in square bracket T2 minus T1 whole divided by T2 minus T1 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1, ln of R2 divided by R1, square bracket complete multiply by ln of R, square bracket complete multiply by ln of R, okay, plus now C2 value is T1 plus into square bracket T1 minus T2 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1, ln of R2 divided by R1, square bracket complete multiply by ln of R1, square bracket complete multiply by ln of R1. Now here you can see that here the C1 term is in the form of a T2 minus T1, whereas C2 term is having temperature difference of T1 minus T2. So to match up the format, we have taken minus sign common from the first term, okay. From the first term we have taken minus sign common, so T1 becomes minus T1 becomes plus T1 and plus T2 becomes minus T2. So if you take the minus sign common out of a bracket, so it will become minus into bracket T1 minus T2 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1. ln of R2 divided by R1. Bracket complete, multiply by ln of R. Bracket complete, multiply by ln of R. Plus into another bracket, remain as it is. T1 minus T2 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 multiply by ln of R1. Okay, getting everyone? Now the two terms are common. Okay, or T1 minus T2 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1. This particular term is common, so that we can take it common out of a bracket. So we'll get the equation as T minus T1 is equal to, in square bracket, T1 minus T2 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1. Okay, ln of R2 divided by R1, square bracket complete. This square bracket we have taken common. Okay, so what will remain in the bracket? Okay, so ln of R, that minus ln of R remain from the first term. So minus ln of R plus from the second term ln of R1 remain as it is. So plus ln of R1. Okay, so bracket complete. Okay, now we have rearranged this particular term as by shifting T1 minus T2 on the another side. Okay, T1 minus T2 on the another side. So it will becomes T minus T1 whole divided by T1 minus T2. Okay, we have shifted this particular term T1 minus T2 to the left side. So it will become T minus T1 whole divided by T1 minus T2. Okay, will be equal to, so what is remain in the square bracket? It will only 1 divided by ln of R2 divided by R1. 1 divided by ln of R2 divided by R1. Multiply by, so we have rearranged this term as we have taken the positive term first and we have shifted this negative term to the second position. So then ln of R1 minus ln of R. Okay, so once again we have to apply the logarithmic rule, log rule, that is ln of x minus ln of y will be equal to ln of x divided by y. Okay, ln of, or log x minus log y is equal to log of x divided y, x divided by y. Okay, that rule we have applied over here, so that the equation will deduce in the format of t minus t1. Okay, equation will deduce in the format of t minus t1 whole divided by t1 minus t2 whole divided by t1 minus t2. Okay, is equal to ln of r1 divided by r whole divided by ln of r2 divided by r1. Okay, ln of r1 divided by r whole divided by ln of r2 divided by r1. Getting everyone? Whether you understood? So this particular equation is called as a temperature distribution equation for hollow cylinder. This particular equation is called as a temperature distribution equation for hollow cylinder. So what is the significance of this equation? So if you know the internal surface temperature of a cylinder and external surface temperature of a cylinder, and if you know the internal radius of a cylinder and external radius of a cylinder, then if you want to determine the intermediate temperature, okay, so intermediate temperature means what? Consider that the internal radius is 10 centimeter, external radius is 20 centimeter, and you want to find out the temperature at 12 centimeter distance, okay, or 12 centimeter radius, or if you want to find out the temperature at 15 centimeter radius, or if you want to find out the temperature at 19 centimeter radius, then it will be easy by using this particular equation. Just we know that the T1 temperature and T2 temperature, then we know R1 radius and R2 radius. R1 is the internal radius of the cylinder and R2 is the external radius. Just put up that particular values, and at what distance or at what radius you want to determine the temperature, that radius you can put up here, and you can calculate this for the unknown temperature. You can calculate this for the unknown temperature of a T. Okay, you can calculate this for the unknown temperature of a T. So that will be provide you the temperature at a various distance or at a various radius of the cylinder, at a various radius of the cylinder. Okay, so that will be our temperature distribution equation for cylinder system or hollow cylinder, for hollow cylinder. Okay, so have you written this point, everyone? Please let me know whether you are with me or not, or you required more time. Write down. So after this, what we have done, just we are putting the C1. Okay, put C1 and C2 in equation 1. Okay, equation 1. So equation 1 will become T. We have just put up the T is equal to C1 value, ln of R plus C2 value. Okay, and afterward we have just done some mathematical operation. Okay, so just shifted T1 on another side, it will become T minus T1. Then to match up the format of equation, from first term we have taken the negative sign common. So T2 minus T1 will become T1 minus T2. Okay, so remaining thing as it is. Then we have taken this particular square bracket common. Okay, square bracket common here. So in the bracket, remaining part is minus ln of R plus ln of R1. Okay, then we have shifted temperature term on one side. Okay, so we'll get the equation in the form of a T minus T1 whole divided by T1 minus T2. Okay, and we have applied the logarithmic rule for ln of R1 minus ln of R. Okay, we have applied the logarithmic rule for ln of R1 minus ln of R, so that we will get the temperature distribution equation for hollow cylinder, that is T minus T1 whole divided by T1 minus T2 is equal to ln of R1 divided by R whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by R1. Getting everyone? Whether you understood how to determine the temperature distribution equation for hollow cylinder? Whether you understood or not, please let me know in the chat box. Okay, shall we move ahead to the next point? Now we have determined the temperature distribution equation for the hollow cylinder. Now we have to find out the heat transfer. Okay, we have to find out the heat transfer for the hollow cylinder. So next point in continuous, that heat transfer in a hollow cylinder. Heat transfer in a hollow cylinder. Okay, so heat transfer in a hollow cylinder, that is within the cylinder. Okay, heat is transferring from internal surface of a cylinder to the external surface. So that heat transfer will be considered as a heat transfer within the cylinder, within the thickness of a cylinder, within the thickness of a cylinder. So that heat transfer will be considered as a conduction heat transfer. That heat transfer will be considered as a conduction heat transfer. So for that reason, we need a Fourier's law to determine the heat transfer for the cylinder. We require the Fourier's law. Okay, Fourier's law for the heat conduction. So our general Fourier's law for the heat conduction is Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dx. Okay, Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dx. Okay, now for the cylinder, this law slightly changed. Okay, so in case of a cylinder, we are representing thickness in the form of a radius. Okay, so thickness of a cylinder is nothing but what? The difference between two radius, that is R2 minus R1. That will be the thickness of a cylinder. Okay, and for that reason, this particular thickness dx will be dr. Okay, this particular thickness will be dr. Okay, in case of a cylinder. So our Fourier equation will be q is equal to minus k multiply by a multiply by dt divided by dr. Okay, for cylinder our Fourier equation will be q is equal to minus k multiply by a multiply by dt divided by dr. Okay, now for the cylinder, surface area can be calculated by using the equation 2 pi r multiplied by l. Okay, 2 pi r multiplied by l, where this r is the radius and l is the length of cylinder. L is the length of cylinder. You can write down surface area of cylinder is equal to 2 pi rl. Okay, surface area of cylinder equal to 2 pi rl. Okay, 2 pi rl. Okay, or pi dl. You can write pi dl also. 2 pi rl or pi dl. Okay, now we have to put up this area in our Fourier equation. We have to put up this area in a Fourier equation. So we will get the equation as q is equal to minus k multiplied by 2 pi rl. Okay, 2 pi rl multiplied by dt divided by dr. Okay, 2 pi rl multiplied by dt divided by dr. Okay, everyone with me? Getting everyone? So q is equal to minus k multiplied by 2 pi rl multiplied by dt divided by dr. Okay, now here we have to take the integration. We have to take the integration with the limits or with the boundary condition. So to take this to take the integration of this particular equation, we required separate variables. Okay, we required the separate variable. So here only two variables are there. One is the temperature and another one is the radius. There are two separate variables. That is, one is the temperature and another one is a radius. Temperature is varying with respect to radius. Okay, temperature is varying with respect to radius. So for that reason, we have to separate out this particular two variables. So for that reason, we have taken r and dr on one side. Okay, and we have kept dt on another side. Okay, we have kept dt on another side, and r and dr we have shifted to left hand side. Okay, so once dr will be shifted, it will be multiplied with the q, and r will be shifted on this side, it will be divided to the dr. So we will get the equation as q is equal to q multiplied by dr divided by r is equal to minus k multiplied by 2 pi l multiplied by dt. Getting everyone? Getting everyone? So q multiplied by dr divided by r is equal to minus k multiplied by 2 pi l multiplied by dt. Okay, now it will be easy to integrate the equation. It will be easy to integrate the equation. But while integrating, we have to provide the limits for the integration. We have to provide the limits for the integration. So what are the limits for the radius? What are the limits for the radius? Limits for the radius, that is nothing but boundary conditions for the radius. R1 and R2 are the limits for the radius, whereas temperature limits are T1 and T2. Okay, temperature limits are T1 and T2. Okay, so we have to integrate now this equation with the limits or with the boundary condition. At r is equal to r1, t becomes t1, and at r is equal to r2, t becomes t2. Okay, we have applied this limits for the integration. So integration from r1 to r2 of q multiplied by dr divided by r equal to integration from t1 to t2 with the limits t1 to t2 of minus k multiplied by 2 pi l multiplied by dt. Okay, multiplied by dt. Okay, so now we are integrating with respect to r and dt. So remaining terms are the constant. Okay, remaining terms are the constant. That is nothing but q, k, 2 pi l. These terms are the constant terms. So we can take these terms out of the integration. We can take these terms out of the integration. So in the next step, we have done the same thing, that q we have taken out of the integration, that because we are integrating with respect to r. So q will become a constant. So integration with the limits r1 to r2 of dr divided by r equal to minus k multiplied by 2 pi l with the integration of with the limits t1 to t2 of dt. Okay, of dt. Okay, we'll get this equation. Now, what is the integration of 1 upon r? Integration of 1 upon r is ln of r. Okay, and integration of dt is only t. Okay, integration of dt is only t. Integration of 1 upon r is log r or ln of r, and integration of dt is t. Okay, so after integration we will get q into square bracket ln of r. Okay, integration of 1 upon r is ln of r with the limits r1 to r2 equal to minus k multiply by 2 pi l, this is the constant, and integration of dt is t. Okay, integration of dt is t with the limits t1 to t2, with the limits t1 to t2. Okay, now next, once you get the equation after integration, we have to apply the limits. First, you have to apply the upper limit and minus the second or the lower limit. Okay, upper limit minus lower limit. So in this manner, we have to apply the limits for the integration. So we have applied first upper limit. So q into bracket ln of r2, r becomes r2, minus lower limit ln of r1. Okay, lower limit ln of r1 equal to minus k multiply by 2 pi l into bracket upper limit is t2, so t2 minus lower limit is t1, so minus t1. So we'll get the equation as q into bracket ln of r2 minus ln of r1 equal to minus k multiply by 2 pi l into bracket t2 minus t1 into bracket t2 minus t1. Getting everyone? Now once again we have to apply the logarithmic rule. Ln of r2 minus ln of r1 will become ln of r2 divided by r1. Okay, ln of r2 minus r1, ln of r2 minus ln of r1 becomes ln of r2 divided by r1. Okay, getting everyone? So that q multiply by ln of r2 divided by r1 is equal to, now here what we have done, we have taken this negative sign inside the bracket. Okay, we have taken this negative sign inside the bracket, so that minus t1 will become plus t1 and plus t2 becomes minus t2. So we will get the equation as 2 pi kl into bracket t1 minus t2. What we have done, minus sign we have taken inside the bracket, so that t1 will be minus t1 will become plus t1 and plus t2 will become minus t2. Okay, so that we will get the equation as, write down, q is equal q multiply by ln of r2 divided by r1 equal to 2 pi kl into bracket t1 minus t2, okay, and we have to determine the heat transfer rate, so that we have to convert this equation in the form of a cube. Okay, we have to determine the heat transfer rate. For that reason, we have to convert the equation in the form of a cube. So for that purpose, this particular ln term we have to shift on another side. So we'll get the equation in the form of a q. So q is equal to 2 pi kl multiplied by t1 minus t2 whole divided by ln of r2 divided by r1. Okay, q is equal to 2 pi kl into bracket t1 minus t2 whole divided by ln of r2 divided by r1. Getting everyone? Whether you understood or not? Now this will provide you heat transfer rate. Okay, this equation will provide you heat transfer rate. Okay, how we have determined the q for the cylinder? Getting everyone? 2 pi kl into bracket t1 minus t2 whole divided by ln of r2 divided by r1. Important formula in the sense of your examination and also in the sense of your GATE examination. Okay, important formula. Now we want to determine the thermal resistance for the heat transfer. We want to determine the thermal resistance for the heat transfer. We know that Q is analogous to I, T1 minus T2 is analogous to dV, and remaining part we have to shift to the denominator side. So what is the remaining part in the numerator? 2 pi KL is the remaining part in the numerator. Okay. So that part we have to shift to the denominator side without changing the significance of the equation. Without changing the significance of the equation, we have to shift the remaining part, remaining from means out by eliminating the temperature difference, remaining part from the numerator, we have to shift to the denominator side without changing the significance of equation. So we have shifted this 2 pi kl to the denominator. We have shifted this 2 pi kl to the denominator, so that we will get the equation as q is equal to T1 minus T2. Q is equal to T1 minus T2 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by 2 pi kl. Okay, divided by 2 pi kl. Okay, so that can be written as equal to T1 minus T2 divided by RTH cylinder, that is the thermal resistance of cylinder. This denominator term ln of R2 divided by 2 pi kl. Instead of that, we can write, or we can give the nomenclature for this particular term as thermal resistance of cylinder. Thermal resistance of cylinder, that is RTH cylinder. Okay, thermal resistance of cylinder, where you can write RTH is equal to ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by 2 pi kl, which is nothing but the thermal resistance for cylinder. Thermal resistance for cylinder. Getting everyone? Please let me know whether you understood all the points or not, or should I repeat the things? समझ में आ रहा है सबको क्या हो रहा है? Okay, so the subject is completely like this manner only. Okay, we have to understood the derivation, we have to understand the concept, and we have to solve the problems. Okay, everything in this particular subject: concept, derivations, problem. Okay, concept, derivation, problem. Okay, have you written all the points? Please let me know in the comment box whether you written all the points or not. Okay, over. Shall we move ahead to the next point? Shall we move ahead to the next point? Please let me know. Is there any doubt, any question? Okay, so next B part of our main heading is heat conduction through composite cylinder. Give the heading as heat conduction through a composite cylinder. 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 Through a composite cylinder. Heat conduction through a composite cylinder. Composite cylinder means what? The cylinder having, or we can say that there are two concentric cylinders. Okay, there are two concentric cylinders. So that will be considered as a composite cylinder, which are made up of different materials. Okay, two different cylinders made up of two different materials. That is nothing but a composite cylinder. Okay, here you can say that in this particular diagram. Okay, so this internal cylinder is a cylinder. This is inner cylinder is a cylinder. Okay, and this is B cylinder. This is B cylinder. Okay, now the external radius of a cylinder. Okay, external radius of a cylinder is the internal radius of B cylinder. Okay, is the external radius. जो भी ए सिलेंडर का एक्सटर्नल रेडियस है, जो भी ए सिलेंडर का एक्सटर्नल रेडियस है, वो बी सिलेंडर का इंटरनल रेडियस है. ये इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है. ओके, जो ए सिलेंडर का एक्सटर्नल रेडियस है, जो ए सिलेंडर का एक्सटर्नल रेडियस है, वो बी सिलेंडर का इंटरनल रेडियस है. ये इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है. अब हमें ये डायग्राम समझना है. ओके, लेट अस कंसिडर दैट this is the A cylinder. Okay, having A cylinder is having internal radius of R1. A cylinder is having internal radius of R1, and A cylinder is having external radius of R2. A cylinder is having external radius of R2. Getting everyone? Now this external radius of A cylinder is the internal radius for the B cylinder. This external radius of A cylinder is the internal radius of B cylinder. So that R2 is the external radius of A cylinder, and the same R2 radius is the internal radius for the B cylinder. So that we are considering it as a concentric cylinder. Concentric cylinder. Okay, cylinder in cylinder, that will be concentric cylinder. Okay, and R3 is the external radius of B cylinder. R3 is the external radius of B cylinder. Okay, now next, hot fluid is flowing inside the A cylinder. Okay, or whatever the cavity of A cylinder is there, through that cavity the hot fluid is flowing. Okay, through that cavity the hot fluid is flowing, and the temperature of that particular hot fluid is T suffix HF. Okay, temperature of hot fluid. Okay, temperature of hot fluid is T suffix HF, and the heat transfer coefficient, okay, convective heat transfer coefficient of this particular hot fluid to the surface, okay, internal surface of A cylinder is H suffix HF. Okay, convective heat transfer coefficient of this particular hot fluid to the internal surface of A cylinder is H suffix HF. Okay, now surrounding to this particular composite cylinder, one another fluid is there. Surrounding to this particular composite cylinder, one another fluid is there. Let us consider air is there. Okay, air is there, and this particular outer surface of this composite cylinder or the external surface of a B cylinder transforming the heat to the external environment. Okay, transforming the heat to the external environment. Okay, and because of that, when the heat is transforming from a surface to the fluid, we have to consider the convection heat transfer. We have to consider the convection heat transfer. So the external fluid or the external air or the external environment is having the temperature of a T suffix Cf. Okay, so that fluid we have to consider as a cold fluid. Okay, internal fluid we have considered as a hot fluid, and external fluid we have to consider it as a cold fluid. Okay, that particular cold fluid is having the temperature of a T suffix Cf. That particular external fluid or the external environment is having the temperature of a T suffix Cf. And heat transfer coefficient between the external surface of a B cylinder and the external environment is H suffix Cf. Okay, heat transfer coefficient or the convective heat transfer coefficient between the external surface of a cylinder and the air or the external environment is H suffix Cf. Okay, now T1 is the internal surface temperature of A cylinder. Okay, T1 is the internal surface temperature of the A cylinder. T2 is the external surface temperature of a cylinder. T2 is the external surface temperature of a cylinder. Same temperature we can consider as internal surface temperature for B cylinder. Okay, same temperature T2 we can consider as the internal surface temperature for B cylinder, and T3 is the external surface temperature for B cylinder. Okay, T3 is the external surface temperature for the B cylinder. Okay, getting everyone? Now, hot fluid is flowing inside the cylinder. Okay, hot fluid is flowing inside the cylinder. We have to consider the one-dimensional heat transfer. Okay, that is nothing but what? Heat is transforming radially. Okay, heat is transforming radially from internal fluid towards the external surface. From internal fluid towards the external surface. So we have to show the heat transfer direction. Okay, so we have to show the heat transfer direction. It shows that heat is transforming radially from the central axis of the cylinder towards the surface of cylinder. Okay, from the central axis of the cylinder towards the surface of the cylinder. That is nothing but radial heat transfer. Okay, radial heat transfer. Getting everyone? Getting everyone? Now further we have to analyze the heat transfer modes. Further we have to analyze the heat transfer mode. So hot fluid is flowing, which is having temperature of T suffix HF, having temperature greater than the surface temperature of a cylinder. Okay, internal surface temperature of a cylinder. So THF is greater than T1, so that we can say that hot fluid will transfer the heat to the internal surface of a cylinder. Okay, hot fluid is transforming the heat to the internal surface of a cylinder. Now heat is transforming from fluid to the surface. Heat is transforming from fluid to the surface, so that that heat transfer will be considered as a convection heat transfer. That heat transfer will be considered as a convection heat transfer. Further, heat is reached to this particular internal surface of a cylinder. Now heat will transfer from internal surface of a cylinder to the external surface of a cylinder, so that we can say that heat is transforming within a cylinder, within the thickness of a cylinder, so that we can say that that heat transfer mode is conduction heat transfer. Okay, that heat transfer mode is conduction heat transfer. Now heat is reached to the external surface of a cylinder. Now the heat will transfer through B cylinder. Heat will transfer through B cylinder. Once again, it will be a conduction heat transfer. Once again, it will be a conduction heat transfer, because it is transforming within the thickness of cylinder. Within the thickness of cylinder. Okay. After transformation, heat will reach to the surface of a B cylinder, external surface of a B cylinder. Now, from this surface, external surface of a B cylinder, from this particular surface, heat will transfer to the external fluid or external environment. Okay, external fluid is air, or external environment we have to consider it as a air. So heat is transforming from the surface to the fluid. Okay, we have to consider that heat is transforming from the surface to the external fluid. Okay, so that we have to consider this mode of heat transfer as a convection heat transfer. We have to consider this mode of heat transfer as a convection heat transfer. Getting everyone? Different modes of heat transfer in this particular composite cylinder. Okay, these nomenclatures are very useful to us to determine the total heat transfer in case of a composite cylinder. In case of a composite cylinder. Okay. Now, please draw this particular diagram. Draw this diagram. Everyone, draw this diagram. Draw this diagram. Composite cylinder diagram. Always remember that we are drawing the cylinder diagram by considering the top view. Okay, by considering the top view only. Show appropriate temperatures, show appropriate radius. Okay, and the nomenclature. Getting everyone? A and B cylinders are there having different thermal conductivity. So thermal conductivity of A cylinder is K suffix A, and thermal conductivity of B cylinder is K suffix B. Okay, so these two cylinders having different thermal conductivity. Okay, and these are the concentric cylinder. Concentric in such a manner that the external radius of A cylinder is the internal radius of B cylinder. Okay, external radius of A cylinder is internal radius of B cylinder. Okay, and the fluid is flowing through the internal cylinder having temperature of T suffix HF, and the convective heat transfer coefficient is H suffix HF. Okay, convective heat transfer coefficient is H suffix HF. So that fluid is having temperature, higher temperature, so that it will be called as a hot fluid. Okay, then uh, the internal surface of a cylinder having temperature of a T1. Okay, at this particular point temperature is T1. Then external surface of a cylinder is having temperature T2, which will be considered as a internal surface temperature of B cylinder. Okay, T2 is also internal surface temperature of B cylinder, and the external temperature of a B cylinder is T3. Okay, external temperature of a B cylinder is T3. Okay, and surrounding to this particular cylinder there is one fluid, or we can say that there is environment, will be considered as a cold fluid. Okay, will be considered as a cold fluid, and this cold fluid temperature is T suffix Cf. This particular cold fluid temperature is T suffix Tf, T suffix Cf. And convective heat transfer coefficient between the external surface of B cylinder and external environment or external fluid is H suffix Cf. That will be considered as a cold fluid convective heat transfer coefficient. Cold fluid convective heat transfer coefficient. Okay, from internal hot fluid, heat will transfer to the internal surface of a cylinder. Okay, that heat transfer will be considered as a convection heat transfer. Then heat will transfer within the A cylinder, that is within the thickness of A cylinder, from internal surface to the external surface of A cylinder. That will be considered as a conduction mode of heat transfer. Okay, then the heat will transfer within B cylinder, that is within the thickness of a B cylinder. That also we have to consider it as a conduction mode of heat transfer. Then heat will be reached to the surface of B cylinder, external surface of a B cylinder. From this B cylinder external surface, heat will be transferred to the external environment, and that will be considered as a convection mode of heat transfer. That heat transfer will be considered as a convection heat transfer. Getting everyone? Show appropriate radius. Show appropriate radius. And we have to show the direction of a heat transfer. And heat is flowing only in a one dimension. Okay, we have to consider one dimensional heat transfer. So heat is flowing in a radial direction. Okay, in a radial direction. So radial direction means what? From center towards the surface, from center of the cylinder or from the center axis of the cylinder towards the surface of the cylinder. So this direction of heat flow will be considered as a radial heat transfer. Radial heat transfer. Draw a freehand sketch. Draw a freehand sketch. Okay. Now let T suffix HF, T suffix HF will be equal to temperature of a hot fluid flowing inside the cylinder. T suffix HF will be equal to temperature of hot fluid flowing inside the cylinder, flowing inside the cylinder. Then T suffix Cf, T suffix Cf will be equal to temperature of cold fluid, temperature of cold fluid, temperature of cold fluid. T suffix Cf will be equal to temperature of cold fluid. Then K suffix A, K suffix A is equal to thermal conductivity of cylinder. K suffix A is equal to thermal conductivity of cylinder A, thermal conductivity of cylinder A. K suffix B, K suffix B is equal to thermal conductivity of cylinder B, is equal to thermal conductivity of cylinder B. K suffix B is equal to thermal conductivity of cylinder B. Then H suffix HF H suffix HF and H suffix CF, H suffix HF and H suffix CF equal to inside and outside heat transfer coefficient. Inside and outside heat transfer coefficient. H suffix HF and H suffix CF is equal to inside and outside heat transfer coefficient. Okay. Now we have to consider the heat transfer modes. Okay, one by one we have to consider the heat transfer mode. Okay, so heat transfer from inside hot fluid to cylinder surface. Okay, inside hot fluid to inside a cylinder surface. Okay, I will write here inside in clear, it will be clear, inside cylinder surface. Okay, heat transfer from inside hot fluid to inside cylinder surface is by convection. Is that particular mode of heat transfer is convection heat transfer mode. Okay, so heat transfer from, write down, in heat transfer from inside hot fluid to inside cylinder surface is by convection, is by convection. Next line, according to Newton's law of cooling, according to Newton's law of cooling, according to Newton's law of cooling. So general Newton's law of cooling is Q is equal to H multiplied by A multiplied by dt. Okay, general Newton's law of cooling is Q is equal to H multiplied by A multiplied by dt, where Q is the heat transfer rate, H is the convective heat transfer coefficient, A is the surface area available for the heat transfer, and dt is the temperature difference between the fluid and surface. Temperature difference between the fluid and surface. Okay, so according to our nomenclature, we can write, according to our nomenclature for this particular derivation, we can write Q is equal to, so hot fluid heat transfer coefficient is H suffix HF multiplied by surface area available for the heat transfer is 2 pi R1L. Okay, 2 pi R1L internal surface area. Okay, internal surface area. Let us consider this diagram. So internal surface area, how much surface area available for the heat transfer from hot fluid to the internal surface of a cylinder. Okay, how much area is available? So area available is 2 pi R1L, because R1 is the internal radius of cylinder A, internal radius of cylinder A. So area available for the heat transfer from hot fluid to the internal surface of a cylinder A will become 2 pi R1L, 2 pi R1L. Okay, getting everyone? So that we have written area is equal to 2 pi R1L multiplied by temperature difference between the hot fluid and the internal surface temperature of cylinder A. Okay, so hot fluid temperature is T suffix HF, hot fluid hot fluid temperature is T suffix HF minus internal surface temperature of cylinder A is T1. Okay, internal surface temperature of cylinder A is T1. So we will get the equation as Q is equal to H suffix HF, that is the convective heat transfer coefficient of hot fluid, multiplied by 2 pi R1L, which is surface area available for the cylinder, surface area available for heat transfer, multiplied by T suffix HF, which is the temperature of hot fluid, minus T1 is the surface temperature of internal surface temperature of cylinder A. Now we have to convert this equation in the form of a temperature difference. We have to convert this equation in the form of a temperature difference. So that we will get the equation as T suffix HF minus T1. We'll get the equation as T suffix HF minus T1 equal to Q divided by Q whole divided by H suffix HF multiplied by 2 pi R1 multiplied by L. 2 pi R1 multiplied by L. Getting everyone? So give equation number 1 for this equation. Give equation number 1 for this equation. T suffix HF minus T1 equal to Q divided by H suffix HF multiplied by 2 pi R1 L. Okay? Getting everyone? Now heat transfer within cylinder A. Next, by considering this particular diagram, now heat is reached to this particular point. Okay, now heat is flowing from internal surface of A to the external surface of A. Okay, so heat is flowing within the thickness of a cylinder, within the thickness of cylinder. So that heat transfer will be considered as a conduction heat transfer. That heat transfer will be considered as a conduction heat transfer. Now we have to consider heat transfer within cylinder A is by conduction. Is by conduction. Heat transfer within cylinder A is by conduction. So according to Fourier's law, heat transfer within cylinder A is by conduction. So next line write down. According to Fourier's law, Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dr. Okay. Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dr. Okay. So you can directly write down the hollow cylinder heat transfer equation. I have done the derivation for the understanding purpose. Okay. So Q is equal to minus K. This is the general equation. Thermal conductivity of A cylinder is K suffix A multiplied by cylinder area. In general, we can write as 2 pi RL. Okay, 2 pi RL multiplied by dt divided by dr. Okay, 2 pi RL multiplied by dt divided by dr. Okay. Now further, we have to separate out the variables and we have to integrate. We have to separate out the variable and we have to integrate with the limits. Okay. So that we have separate out the radius variables on one side and the temperature variables on the another side. Okay. So equation will become Q multiplied by dr divided by R. Q multiplied by dr divided by R equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by 2 pi L multiplied by dt. Okay. Minus K suffix A multiplied by 2 pi L multiplied by dt. Okay. R variable we have taken on one side and temperature variable, radius variable we have taken on one side and temperature variable on another side. So it will be easy to integrate the equation. So similar procedure we have to follow. Apply the limits for the integration R1 and R2 and integrate Q multiplied by dr divided by R equal to apply the limits of a temperature T1 and T2 for the integration and integrate minus K suffix A multiplied by 2 pi L multiplied by dt. Okay. So next we have taken Q constants common, or we can say that integration from left side we have taken Q out of the integration because integration is with respect to R, so that Q will be considered as a constant. So that we have taken Q common out of the integration and integration of 1 upon R with respect to dr with the limits of R1 and R2. And from the right hand side we have taken minus K suffix A multiplied by 2 pi L as a constant and out of the integration sign. And we have integrated dt with the limits T1 to T2. Okay, with the limits T1 to T2. Okay. Now further, after integration of 1 upon R is ln of R. Integration of 1 upon R is ln of R. So we will get the equation as Q into bracket ln of R with the limits R1 and R2. Upper limit is R2 and lower limit is R1 equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by 2 pi L and integration of dt is T with the limits T1 and T2. T2 is the upper limit and T1 is the lower limit. Okay. Just put up the upper limits and lower limits. We'll get the equation as Q into bracket ln of R2 minus ln of R1 equal to minus K suffix A multiplied by 2 pi L into bracket T2 minus T1. Okay. T2 minus T1. So whatever the derivation we have taken for the hollow cylinder heat transfer, same derivation we have followed over here. Okay. Same derivation we have followed here to find out the heat transfer in one single cylinder. Okay. Or then further we have done the mathematical operation. Ln of R2 minus ln of R1 will become ln of R2 divided by R1 equal to, we have taken this negative sign inside the bracket, so T2 become plus T2 becomes minus T2 and minus T1 become plus T1. So equal to 2 pi k suffix a multiply by L into bracket T1 minus T2, T1 minus T2. Okay, getting everyone? Then we will get the equation in the form of Q. Okay, we will get the equation in the form of Q. Q is equal to 2 pi k suffix a multiply by L into bracket T1 minus T2. Q is equal to 2 pi k suffix a multiply by L into bracket T1 minus T2 into bracket T1 minus T2 whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1. 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 Whether you reach up to this particular equation. So we will get the heat transfer equation. Now we have to convert this equation in the form of a temperature difference. In the form of a temperature difference. So keep T1 minus T2 on one side, and remaining terms we have to shift on another side. Okay, remaining terms we have to shift on another side. Okay, so we'll get the equation in the form of a temperature difference. We'll get the equation in the form of a temperature difference as T1 minus T2. T1 minus T2 is equal to T1 minus T2 is equal to Q multiply by ln of R2 divided by R1 whole divided by 2 pi k suffix a multiply by L. K suffix a multiply by L. So that will be our equation number 2. That will be our equation number 2. That will be our equation number 2. Getting everyone? Everyone with me? Everyone reach up to this particular point? Everyone reach up to this particular Pritham. Have you written this equation? Everyone reach up to this point? Shall we move ahead? Now, similarly, we have to calculate the heat transfer equation for cylinder B. Okay. So now here, after reaching the heat to the external surface of cylinder A, the heat will transfer through cylinder B. Okay. Heat will transfer through cylinder B. So that will also a conduction heat transfer. That will also conduction heat transfer. So as the equation we have used for cylinder A, same conduction equation we can use for the cylinder B by changing appropriate nomenclature. By giving the appropriate or by changing the nomenclature, we can write the equation for cylinder B. Okay, the conduction heat transfer through cylinder B. Okay, so similarly for cylinder B, write down. Similarly for cylinder B, similarly for B cylinder, similarly for B cylinder, we can write Q is equal to 2 pi multiply by K suffix B, that is the thermal conductivity of B cylinder, 2 pi multiply by K suffix B multiply by L, and temperature difference are for cylinder B, temperature difference are T2 minus T3. Internal surface temperature is T2 and external surface temperature is T3. Whole divided by ln of R3 divided by R1. Ln of R3 divided by R1. That will be the heat transfer equation for cylinder B. Conduction heat transfer equation for cylinder B. Okay. Now we have to convert this equation in the form of a temperature difference. We have to convert this equation in the form of a temperature difference, so that we can write this equation by keeping T2 minus T3 on one side and shifting all other terms on another side as T2 minus T3 equal to equal to q multiply by ln of r3 divided by r2, ln of r3 divided by r2 whole divided by 2 pi multiply by k suffix b multiply by k suffix b multiply by l. 2 pi k suffix b multiply by l. Getting everyone? So we have used the same equation and we have changed the suffix according to the b cylinder, okay. So that will be our equation number 3. Okay, written? Everyone with me? Have you written this equation? Okay, shall we move ahead to the next point? Now the heat transfer from outer surface of a cylinder, okay, heat transfer from outer surface of cylinder B to air is by convection. Okay, outer surface से air को heat जो transfer हो रही है वो क्या होगी? Convection. कैसे होगी? convection mode से वो heat transfer होगी, because heat is transforming from the surface to the fluid, so that we have to consider that heat transfer as a convection mode of heat transfer. So in general, Newton's law of cooling, we can write it as a Q is equal to H multiplied by A multiplied by dt. Q is equal to H multiplied by A multiplied by dt. So now we have to put up our nomenclatures in this particular equation. Q is equal to H suffix Cf is the cold fluid heat transfer coefficient, H suffix Cf, multiply by, now area, which area? Surface area available for the heat transfer. For the outer surface of cylinder B, what is the area? Okay, radius of outer surface of cylinder B is R3, so that we can say that the area available for the heat transfer from the outer surface of cylinder B will be 2 pi R3 multiplied by L. Okay, 2 pi R3 multiplied by L. So R3 is the external radius of cylinder B and L is the length of total length of cylinder. Okay, total length of cylinder. So that area will become 2 pi R3 multiplied by L multiplied by surface temperature of cylinder B minus cold fluid temperature. Okay, surface temperature minus cold fluid temperature. So T3 minus T suffix Cf. T3 minus T suffix Cf. So we will get the equation as Q is equal to H suffix Cf multiplied by 2 pi R3L multiplied by into bracket T3 minus T suffix Cf. Now we have to convert this equation. Have you written this equation? Then we have to convert this equation in the form of a temperature difference. So we have kept temperature difference on one side and another term we have shifted, remaining terms on this side we have shifted to another side, so that we will get the equation as T3 minus T suffix Cf, equal to T3 minus T suffix Cf equal to Q divided by H suffix Cf multiply by into bracket 2 pi R3L, 2 pi R suffix 3 multiply by L. Okay, 2 pi R3L. Now we get 4 different equations for the temperature differences. Now we have to add this all 4 equations. Okay, so addition should be in such a manner that the temperature differences should be added on one side, and or we can say that the left hand side should be added on a left hand side and right hand side should be added on a right hand side. Okay, so temperature differences we have added on one side. So addition of all the temperatures, T suffix HF minus T1 plus T1 minus T2 plus T2 minus T3 plus T3 minus T suffix Cf. Okay, and the right hand side will be added on right hand side equal to Q divided by H suffix HF multiplied by into bracket 2 pi R1L plus Q multiplied by ln of into bracket R2 divided by R1 whole divided by 2 pi K suffix A multiplied by L plus Q multiplied by ln of R3 divided by R2 whole divided by 2 pi K suffix B multiplied by L plus Q divided by H suffix CF multiplied by 2 pi R3 multiplied by L. 2 pi R3 multiplied by L. Write down the equation. Very lengthy equation. You can use 2-3 lines for the writing purpose. Okay. So write down equation properly. We have added all the 4 equation, temperature distribution equation. So addition in such a manner that we have added all the temperatures on another one side and the another terms on the another side. Okay, left hand side we have added on left hand side and the right hand side we have added on the right hand side. Okay. Now here minus T1, focus on this particular left hand side, minus T1 plus T1 will be cancelled, minus T2 plus T2 will be cancelled, minus T3 plus T3 will be cancelled. Okay, so only plus T suffix HF and minus T suffix CF will remain on the left hand side. Okay, plus T suffix HF and minus T suffix CF will be remain on the left hand side. Okay, so that we can say that next line you can write the equation as T suffix HF minus T suffix CF. Okay, T suffix HF minus T suffix CF is equal to, now here from the right hand side, Q divided by 2 pi L is the common in all the terms. Okay, Q divided by 2 pi L is common in all the terms on the right side. Okay, so for that reason we have taken Q divided by 2 pi L out of the bracket. Okay, Q divided by 2 pi L out of the bracket. Okay, Q divided by 2 pi L out of the bracket, and inside the bracket what is remain? From the first term it is remain only 1 divided by H suffix HF multiplied by R1 plus from the second term ln of R2 divided by R1 whole divided by K suffix A, from the third term plus ln of R3 divided by R2 whole divided by K suffix B plus from the third term 1 divided by H suffix CF multiplied by R3 multiplied by R3. Okay, getting everyone? Write down the equation. T suffix HF minus T suffix CF is equal to Q divided by 2 pi L into square bracket 1 divided by H suffix HF multiplied by R1 plus ln of R2 divided by R1 whole divided by K suffix A whole divided by K suffix A plus ln of R3 divided by R2 whole divided by K suffix B whole divided by K suffix B plus 1 divided by H suffix CF multiplied by R3 square bracket complete. Okay, square bracket complete. Now we have to convert this equation in the form of a Q because we have to determine the heat transfer rate in composite cylinder. We have to determine the heat transfer rate in the composite cylinder. So to determine heat transfer rate in a composite cylinder, we have to convert the equation in the form of a Q. So keep this Q on one side and remaining part from right hand side we have to shift on a left hand side. So equation will become Q is equal to 2 pi L we have shifted on this side, it will be multiplied to the numerator, so that 2 pi L into bracket T suffix HF minus T suffix CF, T suffix HF minus T suffix CF, whereas this T suffix HF and T suffix CF are the hot fluid temperature and cold fluid temperature. Okay, which are the extreme temperatures of a cylinder, extreme temperatures of the cylinder. So you can say that the overall temperature difference. Okay, we can say that the overall temperature difference. This temperature difference is a overall temperature difference. Okay, whole divided by inside square bracket 1 divided by h suffix hf multiply by r1 plus ln of r2 divided by r1 whole divided by k suffix a plus ln of r3 divided by r2 whole divided by k suffix b plus 1 divided by h suffix cf multiply by r3. Okay, so that will provide you heat transfer rate. Okay, that will provide you heat transfer rate. Getting everyone? I have written this equation. Remember this equation. Okay, useful equation. How to remember? Apply some logic and anyhow you have to remember this equation. Okay, anyhow you have to remember this equation. Is there any doubt, any question up till now? Now, or have you written this equation? Now, if you consider that, now we have considered two concentric cylinders. Okay, we have considered two concentric cylinders, and for that reason we have written this equation. For two concentric cylinders and one fluid is flowing inside the cylinder and one fluid is outside the cylinder. Okay, for that assumption we have written this equation. Now, if there are n concentric cylinders, okay, if there are n concentric cylinders, so what will be the generalized heat conduction equation or heat transfer equation for that particular composite cylinder if there are n concentric cylinder? So we can say that for two cylinders, okay, the numerator side remain as it is. Okay, which is nothing but the 2 pi L multiplied by overall temperature difference. Okay, that is hot fluid temperature minus cold fluid temperature. So it will remain as it is. Okay, now initial part, okay, in the denominator, okay, the hot fluid is flowing, hot fluid is transferring the heat to the internal surface. That part is also remain as it is. Okay, that part is also remain as it is. So first term will remain as it is, 1 divided by h suffix hf multiplied by r1. Okay, plus now if there are two concentric cylinder, then we have taken the addition of two cylinders. Okay, addition of two cylinders, that is ln of r2 divided by r1 divided by k suffix a plus ln of r3 divided by r2 divided by k suffix b. Okay, so if there are two cylinders, then we have taken the addition of these two terms. Okay, addition of two terms, these two terms. Okay, if there are n terms, then this final radius, okay, final radius is r3. In case of two cylinder, the final radius is r3. If there are three cylinders, so final radius will be r4. If there are 5 cylinder, the final radius will be if there are 5 cylinder, then final radius will be r6. Okay, so that is nothing but what, if you are taking if you are considering the n cylinders, the final radius is r suffix n plus 1. Okay, the final radius is r suffix n plus 1. So if there are n concentric cylinders, we have to take the summation from n is equal to 1 to n is equal to n for ln of r suffix n plus 1 whole divided by r suffix n whole divided by k suffix n. Okay, and the last term is 1 divided by h suffix cf multiplied by r suffix n plus 1. Okay, multiply by r suffix n plus 1. Getting everyone? Is there any question, any doubt? क्या किया है हमने यहाँ पे? ये इक्वेशन हमने किस लिए लिया है? किस कंसीडरेशन पे लिया है? हमने कंसीडर क्या किया है? देयर आर टू सिलेंडर्स. ओके, दो कॉन्सेंट्रिक सिलेंडर है और उसके अंदर से एक फ्लूइड फ्लो हो रहा है और उसके बाहर से एक फ्लूइड फ्लो हो रहा है. तो उसके लिए हम ऐसे लिख सकते हैं, ये इक्वेशन कंसिडर कर सकते हैं। अब हमें क्या कंसिडर करना है कि जब n सिलेंडर हो, हमें क्वांटिटी पता नहीं है, तो उस केस में हम इक्वेशन कैसा लिख सकते हैं? ओके, हम इक्वेशन कैसा लिख सकते हैं, जनरलाइज इक्वेशन कैसा लिख सकते हैं? तो जो न्यूमरेटर साइड है वो वैसे की वैसी रहेगी, उसमें चेंज नहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि 2 पाई एल कांस्टेंट है। ओके, एंड लेंथ वैरी नहीं होगी और 2 पाई कांस्टेंट रहेगा। और टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस, ओवरऑल टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस है, जो इनसाइड फ्लूइड फ्लो हो रहा है उसका टेम्परेचर माइनस जो एक्सटर्नल फ्लूइड है उसका टेम्परेचर, तो वो चेंज नहीं रहेगा। अब क्या चेंज होगा? अब चेंज होगा रेजिस्टेंस में, रेजिस्टेंस में चेंज होगा। अब इनसाइड फ्लूइड से हीट इंटरनल सरफेस को जो ट्रांसफर हो रही है वो कन्वेक्शन मोड से ट्रांसफर हो रही है, तो वो क्वांटिटी वैसी की वैसी रहेगी, उसमें कुछ बदलाव नहीं रहेगा। ओके, वो क्वांटिटी वैसी की वैसी रहेगी, उसमें कुछ बदलाव नहीं रहेगा। ओके, प्लस नाउ जो रेजिस्टेंस और जो क्वांटिटीज टोटल नंबर ऑफ जो क्वांटिटीज नंबर ऑफ कॉन्सेंट्रिक सिलेंडर पर डिपेंड है, वो क्वांटिटीज, ये 2 क्वांटिटीज है। ओके, और ये 3 क्वांटिटीज है, हम कंसीडर कर सकते हैं ये 3 क्वांटिटीज है जो कि टोटल नंबर ऑफ कॉन्सेंट्रिक सिलेंडर पर डिपेंड है। ओके, अब यहाँ पे हमने क्या किया है, जब 2 सिलेंडर थे तो हमने 2 टाइम एडिशन की है इस 2 क्वांटिटी की। ओके, 2 टाइम्स एडिशन की है इस 2 क्वांटिटी की, which are related to the conduction, which are related to the conduction. Okay, और इसमें फाइनल रेडियस क्या है? R3 है। ओके, इसमें फाइनल रेडियस क्या है? R3 है। So similarly, if you consider the 5 cylinders, then final radius will be R6. If there are 7 cylinders, then final radius will be R7. Okay, so we can consider that if there are n cylinders, then the final radius will be R suffix n plus 1. Then there will be a final radius of R suffix n plus 1. Okay, divided by initial radius, divided by initial radius, that is R suffix n. So we can write in general, we can write in general as summation of all the logarithmic terms of R suffix n plus 1 whole divided by R suffix n whole divided by K suffix n. Okay, now जो फाइनल टर्म है 1 डिवाइडेड बाय H सफिक्स CF मल्टीप्लाई बाय R3, ये क्या सिग्निफाई कर रही है? इस कन्वेक्शन हीट ट्रांसफर सिग्निफाई कर रही है, और उसके लिए जो रेजिस्टेंस मिल रहा है वो सिग्निफाई कर रही है। तो जो भी फाइनल रेडियस होगा वहां से ही हीट ट्रांसफर आउटर फ्लूइड को ट्रांसफर होगी। तो जो R3 है, ये इस केस में 2 सिलेंडर है तो फाइनल रेडियस R3 है, तो n सिलेंडर की केस में कितने रेडियस हो गए? R suffix n plus 1 radius हो गया। So in that case, the final term will be 1 divided by H suffix CF multiplied by R suffix n plus 1. Getting everyone? This particular n concentric cylinder, if there are n concentric cylinder. Is there any question, any doubt? Is there any question, any doubt? Okay, so we have covered composite cylinders now. We'll take the problems on the composite cylinder in the next lecture. Thank you for patiently listening this particular lecture, because I have to cover this lecture. Okay, anyhow, because if you shift the data to the another lecture, some time will be wasted to or invested to recover the previous points. So that I will cover this in this particular lecture only, and I have taken your more than half hour extra, more than half hour. We'll get 1.5 hour lunch break. Today you will get 1.5 hour lunch break. Okay, so sometimes we have to listen patiently. We should have patience. Then and then only the subject syllabus will be covered, or else it will not cover. Okay, there is very much vast syllabus for this particular subject, so we have to take such a half an hour extra in every lectures. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask, or else you can put up your roll numbers in the chat box, and you can leave this particular meeting. Okay, so we'll stop here. If you have any doubt, you can ask, and practice it on daily basis. Once you return the derivations, read it once, so that whatever unknown quantities or whatever points you not understood in the lecture, after reading it once again or practicing once again, you'll understood that particular point, why we are performing that particular operation. If you will not understood, then also, then you can contact me and you can discuss with me, no issue. Okay, or else you can ask in the next lecture also. बोला